This video, I'm going to be sharing with you a completely new idea with that of manifestation and how you can really increase the probability of you experiencing what you want. And at the end, we're going to wire it in with a powerful meditation. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you that new perspective that I've been coming to understand when it comes to consciousness, when it comes to manifestation in general. Now let me first off say that this is the new type of style videos I've been doing. So what I do is I do 5, 10, 12 minutes of the information section of the video. And then what we do is in the last part is we wire it in with the meditation so that we are able to make learning more of a dynamic experience and something we can really absorb at an energetic level rather than it just being all inside of the head. So this is a new style I've been doing. Let me know what you guys think of this style. It's something I've been doing for a couple weeks now, and I've had a great response from you guys, but I just want to make sure that this is the style that I should keep going in. So with that, what I'm going to be doing is sharing with you this new idea of probable realities. Now, probable realities. Now, this is an interesting idea because normally I've explained many times before on that of parallel realities, the understanding that there are an infinite number of parallel realities that exists and that we're constantly shifting through different parallel realities, that what we think of as time is actually the movement through different parallel realities. But we have memory, we have a way of stringing all of these together with our brain to say, oh, this is now, or this is the past, this is the present, this is the future. But nonetheless, they all exist right now in the present moment. We're simply shifting our focus to different parallel realities. Now, of course, there's an infinite number of parallel realities, and this is also what quantum physics is showing us. And there's a different aspect, though, that I want to talk about today. And it's this interesting aspect I've been studying when it comes to understanding what some people call a big toe. So TOE stands for theory of everything. So a theory of everything. And what they found out is that a lot of times the scientists have come up with what's called a little toe, a little theory of everything. Now a theory of everything, a little toe version of that would be it explains a certain part of life. It might explain the reality within we live in, but it doesn't explain anything beyond that. It might explain a certain facet of why we experience things in life, but nothing beyond that. Now, a big theory of everything would have something that's all-inclusive of all of this. Now, this might sound a little bit different. Maybe you haven't heard this before, but there's very credible scientists that believe that we live in a virtual reality. Now, this is actually very empowering. This might seem kind of scary. Like, what do you mean, a virtual reality? Well, think about it. They have technology, and they will especially have even more technology in the next 5 or 10 years, where you put it on and you don't know the difference between what you have on, like the helmet you're wearing. You don't know the difference between that reality and the reality that you're in now. They will eventually have that capability. Maybe even eventually it's something that goes beyond that of just some like helmet we put on. It could be some level of consciousness thing where it's like a simulation. But in actuality, think about it. What do our senses do? Our senses interpret information. Everything in our lives is consciousness, and consciousness is different data streams of interpretation, different data streams of information. So what we can see is that our senses, what we can hear, see, touch, all of these things are interpretations of vibration. Now, what if we exist as immortal spiritual beings, still consciousness? Sometimes when we think of virtual reality, we think of just technology, but nonetheless, it's like a metaphor. And that metaphor is that when you are playing a game, for example, you can get very involved into playing a game. Maybe it's playing some type of video game, like Sims, right? You're playing Sims, you have an avatar, and you're going around and you're playing your game. Now, sometimes what happens is we become identified with that avatar, and we think that that is who we are. Now, in a similar way, what I believe happens, now this is kind of like a more general idea, but I believe that we are immortal spiritual beings living a temporary human experience. Now, for a period of time, we have logged into this game of life. That when we log into the game of life, we have these senses. These senses we can interpret information through, and we can use these. There's ways of enhancing our perception. There's ways of enhancing and having abilities like being able to senses beyond that. They call that the sixth sense, being able to see beyond that of just what we can, some people can see auras, for example, which are just different data streams. That's all they are. Some people are trained to see it. Some people can naturally see it. And I think that at a fundamental level, when we're born, we actually all have the ability. We just tone it out as we get older based on our own belief systems. But nonetheless, that within the reality that we live in, we've logged in for a period of time. We've forgotten who we are at a greater level. We've forgotten that we are playing, in a way, a metaphorical game. Now, the purpose of this game is to integrate. The purpose of this game is to, first off, remember that you're playing a game. We call that spiritual awakening. And from then, to be able to influence the game in the reality direction that you want. Now, the way we influence the game is through that of intention. When we set intentions, we increase the probability of something else happening. We, in a way, think about it as what we experience in this game is dependent upon the choices that we make and the energy state that we exist in. When we are modifying these things, we then are modifying the future probabilities. We're making certain things more probable. Now, anything is possible. The question is not, is this possible, is this not possible? It's, is this probable? And the way that we create an increase in probability is through our intent. It's through our emotion. It's these two things combined, intent, emotion. So in a way, we are living in what we could metaphorically call a virtual reality. We've forgotten that we've logged in, and science is actually starting to show that this is much more probable. This is much more likely than a lot of the other theories of everything. If you look at a recent talk with Elon Musk, he says it's very highly probable that we live in a simulation. Now, this can be scary because we think simulation, we think, oh, this is technology, this is like we're living in a computer. It's more so about understanding that we are consciousness, and that if we are aware of this, we are becoming more aware of who we really are. We're becoming aware that, imagine that you're playing a video game and you thought that you were the character in the video game. So you were reacting to everything that happened, and everything was so serious, everything was so important. But then all of a sudden you realized that there's also an energy that's flowing through that character. That energy flowing through that character is actually a different perspective that's more expanded, that has more ability to influence in a powerful way. That's what I believe we do when we connect to who we really are. We call this the higher self. Think of the higher self as the person playing the video game, and the ego self as that of the avatar. The movie recently came out, well, recently, it's been years now, but the movie Avatar kind of points to this idea. What if we could get consciousness, and what if consciousness could then put itself into a different, quote unquote, like the idea that you're on one planet and then on a different planet, there's like some virtual reality going on. Now, of course, that's a great movie and everything, but is it far off from possibility? Because I believe that at the fundamental core, we are consciousness, that our senses are interpreting information, that we are immortal spiritual beings having a temporary human experience, and the goal of the game is to integrate and to feel more love. The vibration of love is the purpose of playing the game. It is the love is the realization. We are naturally love, but the idea is to move through that of the game and realize that that is who we are. And the more we exude compassion and love for other people, with the understanding that those other avatars are other versions of us at a greater level, the more we expand our awareness to a totally new level. So you see, it's kind of a new idea, but this is something that I've been studying recently. I find it very interesting, and it's a very empowering definition, because it means that we can shift our perception to that of the higher self, to that of the consciousness that we are, to understanding that we are immortal spiritual beings having temporary human experiences. When I went through my spiritual awakening, I had this feeling that, in a way, metaphorically speaking, that life in a way is kind of like a video game. We log in, we have challenges, we have problems that we deal with, but then we learn how to transcend them. And through that transcendence, that creates pressure. We end up moving up, and we end up learning more about ourselves, and it's something that we wanted to have the experience of. Imagine that in the higher realms, we could call it the higher dimensions, that anything you want, you immediately get. That there's instant manifestation. That is the way that reality works. That's natural for you, that you live in unconditional love naturally. How much love or how much learning would there be with that? Now, of course, I'm sure there'd be some type of learning, but what I think we've chosen to do is to become a part of this life experience, to remember who we are, to go through the challenges, to slow down the manifestation process from instantly to then we have to consistently think of something. We have to set the intent. And as we do that, we then create the probabilities of what we want to experience. I think that that is a likely or a possibility for the way reality could work. And in a way, we've logged into this game of life. And together, collectively, we're also experiencing this reality together in many ways. Now, we all have our own interpretation of it. One of the ways we also create our reality in the VR type analogy, in the virtual reality, is through our interpretation of things, because the way we interpret it has a lot to do with what we experience. And everyone will have a little bit of a different interpretation. Some people might see the same event and have 5 different interpretations for it. There's 5 different people. Now, nonetheless, they're going to all respond to that in a different way as well. But it's about understanding that things in life are fundamentally neutral. Depending on our perspective, we can change things around. And when we start to put it in the direction of an intent, that's what increases probability. So set the intention. And how do we set an intention? Well, you literally think of what you want to experience as an outcome, as the outcome. What do you want? Set the intention. Literally think, I intend for ... And then put whatever that ... is. So you'd be like, I intend to go to the gym and have a great workout. That's what I'm going to do later on today. I'm going to set the intention that I eat healthy food. I'm going to set these intentions, and I'm making it more probable. And based on the choices I make as my quote unquote avatar right now, I'm going to then experience the ramifications of that. But know that you at the fundamental core are unconditional love, that is your natural state of being. That's part of the purpose of life, is always remembering that and always choosing that perspective, because choice is what determines the probable future you experience. And we're always shifting. I think that parallel realities, VR, they can all interlink together. It's not like it's either this or it's this or it's this. But collectively, I think that as well, we have decided to be here for a very important time on the planet, because we've all decided to go through an awakening of consciousness, to become aware that we are not the avatars, that we are immortal spiritual beings that are all connected. And that when we realize this, we expand our awareness to a higher level of consciousness and things appear completely differently. So this is about having the understanding of who we are at the fundamental core, and knowing that we all agreed here to be here for a certain reason, and that we're all going to move through this together and create the probable futures that we want in a collective type way as well as individual. But the individual way we do it is through understanding our intent. What is your intention? Very powerful formula. Increased intention, elevated emotion. Feel it within your heart, because that heart feeling is who you naturally are. That will very powerfully put you in the direction of what you want and make things much more probable. So with that, let's go ahead and move into a meditation. This meditation is going to help to wire in this understanding of intention and how we can apply intention in our life. How we can understand what we can experience what we want in a very easy way. So what we're going to do right now is take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out. And we're going to relax with every breath that we take. We're also going to put our hands over our heart, because by doing so, we grow the electromagnetic energy around our body, and we start to really feel at the authentic core of who we are. So let's take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Breathe it out. Feel your body relax more and more. Put your hands over your heart and begin to feel into your heart center. And know that the more you put your awareness in your heart center, the more you are growing the electromagnetic energy around your body, the more magnetic you are becoming, and the more you are sinking into who you really are. Now let's take another deep breath in, deep breath out. And then if you can, I encourage you to close your eyes. As you breathe out, feel the energy once again in your heart center. Feel the warmth in your hands, the warmth emanating into your heart. And know that the more you connect to your heart center, the more you are growing this electromagnetic energy, the more you are feeling connected to who you really are. Now imagine that there is a ball of energy inside of your heart, any color that you like. And imagine that this ball of energy is vibrating. Imagine that this ball of energy begins to spin in a clockwise position. And as it spins, you're feeling the energy in your heart increase more and more. You're feeling your body relax more and more. And you're feeling any emotions come up that you can let go of simply with intention. Set the intention that you let go of emotions that don't serve. Set the intention that you increase the energy in your heart and that you relax more and more. Now imagine this ball of energy spinning faster and faster. I'm going to count down from 5 to 1. And by the time I reach 1, you're going to feel more electromagnetic energy in your heart than ever before. 5. Feel this energy spinning faster and faster in your heart. 4. Feeling it now. Begin to vibrate. 3. Feeling more warmth come in. Feeling more relaxed. 2. Now you're really feeling this love inside of your body flow through all parts of your body. 1. Know now that you are more immersed into your own heart space. And that this is who you really are. Now smile with both your lips, and then also imagine that your heart is smiling. By doing this, you're feeling a lightness throughout your body. You're feeling very present and connected at the same time. Now imagine yourself in a very relaxing environment. This could be outdoors or indoors. It could be at the beach, at a forest, in a comfortable room. Whatever it is, imagine that you are in a very relaxing, peaceful place. What do you see in this relaxing, peaceful place? What kind of colors? What's in the environment? What do you hear in this peaceful place? What sounds? Imagine those sounds becoming louder and louder. How do you feel in this relaxing place? Now notice that you see a chair in the middle of this place. Go walk over to this chair. Notice what the chair looks like. This chair is titled the Theta Brainwave Chair. And anytime you sit in this chair, you're going to begin to influence yourself in a very powerful way, because the Theta Brainwave state is where you influence your reality in a very powerful place. So go ahead and now turn around and sit in this chair, and notice that as you do, you feel even more relaxed. You feel a tingling sensation in your brain, tingling sensation in your body, and know that what we are about to do is going to increase the intention in your life. Now understand that everything in your life is a function of probability. There's a probability of you experiencing what you want in your life, and of the opposite. It all depends on your intention and your emotion. And these two things combined will create a higher probability for you experiencing what you want. So now in this chair, notice how easy it is for you to think of your goals, to think of your desires. Notice how easy and flowing the thoughts are. They just flow in so easy. Now what are your desires and your goals? And think about what those are and really feel it inside of your heart center. To yourself, I intend to ... That ... is whatever your goals are. I intend. Imagine a scenario where this intention comes to fruition. Imagine what it would look like, what it would feel like. Imagine the outcome of this intention coming true. By doing this, you are increasing the probability that it happens. Because as you see more of this outcome, you are making it something that is more probable that you feel emotionally, and also something that you expect to happen. Imagine that there's a dial on the side of this chair, and the dial goes from 1 to 10, and 10 is the accumulation of both an elevated emotion and that of an increased intention. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move this dial from 1 to 10, and by the time we get to 10, we are going to feel more of that emotion in our heart center. We're going to feel that intention very strong throughout our body, and we're going to know we have influenced our mind in a very powerful way. So now go ahead and put your hand on this dial. With every number I count, you are going to feel an increase in the heart center of your body. And you're going to feel and know that this is who you are. 1. Feel it now. A little jolt of energy inside of your heart center. Feeling this energy increase. 2. Feel with every number I count, it doubles in the amount of confidence of that intention. 3, 4, 5. Feel this energy flow through your body. 6, 7, 8. Really feeling it inside your heart center now, knowing that this is something that is highly, highly probable. 8, 9, 10. Now feel this energy in your body and know that you have just increased the probability of this happening. Know that even when you get out of this meditation, you're going to feel more connected to this probability, and you're simply going to have an ease and a knowing that it is eventually going to come to fruition. And soak in this energy. Set the intention that before the end of the day today, you are going to see some new sign of this probable future that will be happening in the present moment. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come back to awake awareness. I'm going to count down from 5 to 1. With every number I count, you're going to feel more relaxed, more present to the moment, more certain intentions are coming to fruition. 5, feel yourself now becoming more alert and present. 4, 3, 2, feel yourself now start to wiggle around. 1, now you can open up your eyes. Feel yourself present to the moment, knowing that you have just increased the probability of these things happening for you. Everything and anything is possible. The question is it probable? And what you have just done is you have increased the intention with an elevated emotion that will now make it easier than ever for this to happen. So if you like this style of videos, let me know. Also, I'm going to be doing more live Q&As on Instagram. So if you want to ask me questions, interact, and I'll be even doing live meditations there, you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram as well. I also have a free guided meditation for raising your vibrational set point that you can download in the top of the description box. I recommend that you listen to that for at least 21 days in a row, and I think that if you do, you'll raise your vibrational set point to a whole new level. And other than that, as always, I thank you for watching this video. Feel free to like this video. If you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, I will see you guys on the next video. Peace, much love, and namaste.